Hello guys, and welcome back to my channel. If you haven't already, appreciate it if you would like and subscribe to the channel. This video is not about dating. So in this video today, because my subscriber base is increasing, what I wanted to do is I wanted to just kind of better the content, better the footage. So I went out and got the DJI Pocket Cam 2. And what I wanted to do was just do like a quick, synopsis, reaction, or maybe some feedback, whatever you want to call it, of the camera itself. So as I begin to open it here, it's definitely a lightweight camera. Pretty neat. Can fit in the palm of your hand, outside of the gimbal itself. And so basically what I'm going to do is I'm just kind of want to go over a couple of the specs. I don't want to get too technical and too intense into it, but just kind of give you a few of the specs, and what they'll be good for, so that the rubber meets the road, it makes sense or whatever. And then we're gonna kind of want to go out and get a little bit of footage. I'm just gonna walk around my neighborhood. I'm not gonna go do some serious footage. I am stateside in America, right? So then I might want to go for a little drive, to see how the frames per second look. In terms of comparing it to like the GoPro and the iPhone. Those are the other two devices that I take footage on. And I'm not going to do a huge comparison, but just kind of want to take a look at it to see what would be good for what, like if I'm doing like a sit down interview, would it make sense to do my iPad, is the new Pocket Cam going to be good for like some serious activity that I know the GoPro is capable of doing. So I just kind of want to take a look at that. But between my iPhone, the GoPro, and the DJI Pocket Cam, I think we'll be good with providing the footage that I want to provide for you guys. So let's get into some of the specs here really quick. So really quick, before we talk about specs, I just wanted to show you guys something really quick. One of the things I noticed immediately when I started unpackaging the camera is I noticed these two little spacers here in the covering, in the little case here, which I like this case because it's pretty cool. It's nice hard shell. I guess it also could serve as like a little, I don't know, like a little mount if you're going to be doing something where you need the camera to be stable, like an interview or something. But I mean, we'll talk about that later. But yeah, these two little spacers here, I like it because like when you take your DJI Cam out and you got your little gimbal here, that other spacer kind of stays right in there with another one for support. Because when you get this camera, you're gonna realize that it's nice, small, and compact, but there's a certain level of delicacy to it as well, unlike a GoPro or your iPhone, especially when you case your iPhone. So right in there, that kind of just stays in there. If you can see that little spacer just kind of stays in there for support. Just to keep the overall axis of the little robot arm intact. So I kind of like that, and I thought that was a really neat little detail. Because that is an access arm or an access robot, if you know anything about robotics. So, and that just kind of free for alls, when it's, not in power mode. But if you turn the power mode on, just right here, you'll see that arm start to just kind of activate a little bit. So, and then when you turn it off, it kind of locks in place, which is pretty neat. But here again, so for me, myself, and how meticulous I am, so when I store in my case, I'm just gonna slip that little support back in there, that little padding back in there. And that keeps it from, over time, maybe just, losing the support of that little axis right there. And then what I'm going to do also is I'll take my case and, I'll sit it, let's go this way. Take my case and I'll sit it right in there, just like that, for support, just for when it's just sitting idle or whatever, which keeps it in its, original, packaging or whatever. So, and then also you have your control module here that kind of sits in those grooves as well. That control module kind of comes off, kind of slides right out, just like that. And then you can stick, the other control modules that comes with it as well. This is your charging module. Looks like I don't know, they call it like I actually don't know what they call it. Anyways, but it just sticks kind of right in there, right, for charging if you need to pull a charge from your phone or whatever, or if, I'm guessing if you want to transfer data right to your phone, that one sticks right in there. Here's another control module piece that kind of sits right in there. I guess I should have researched the title of these little controls, right? But nevertheless, that one's in there. I know that's for charging or whatever, or that connects your phone, right? Because you can download the DJI Mismo app, and that just kind of goes right in there. But one of the things I did notice, like if you have a case on your phone, the case on your phone takes up so many millimeters from the edge of your phone to the end of the charger case. And this slides right in there. And on my phone, because I have a pretty, like, if you think of like like the Unicorn Beetle charging cases, or like some of the intense, real strong charging case or cases for your phone, that takes up so many millimeters from the edge of your phone to the end of the case. And so when you stick this control module all the way down, slide it all the way in like that, and then you try to launch that into the edge of your phone, it only goes so far in before the side of the DJI CAM hits the side of your case, which leaves probably millimeters of an inch between this connector and the female connector of your phone. So it's not connecting. So there's like a gap there. So what I find is that if you want to use these little modules here to connect inside your phone, you literally have to take the case, whatever casing you have, off your phone, or go to a more slim, flimsier, casing for that matter. But for me, I won't be doing that type of connection and recording. I would just choose either one of the devices, whether the iPhone, whether the GoPro 9 that I have, or this, to just do my recording. I won't be transferring, so I don't think I'll even be using that. So, and then you have your blank here that comes with it, that just kind of slides in there to protect your little doohickeys here, whatever those things are. I'm sure there's a technical term for it, but that just kind of slides in there to protect that and everything. So, so that's that. But yeah, overall, the casing, the packaging and everything, I think it's pretty good. So let's get into some of the specs of this thing. Okay, so the first spec I want to talk about, which is the most important for a videographer, or when you're doing your vlogs, is your frames per second, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the control module here that came with it, and I'm going to slide the control module right in. And so control module is right in. We'll fire up the cam. And one of the cool things is, you have like a little display display here, probably like maybe a 1/2 inch by 3/4 of an inch display. And you can actually, kind of zoom through and go to your menu. So one of the cool thing about this on the menu is you can click on your video. There's actually a menu here where you can select your frames per second, right? Now why is that important? The highest frames per second that the DJI Pocket 2 Cam give you is 60 frames per second. And why is that so important? And it goes in increments of 20, so it goes from 50 or 60 to 40 to 20, so on and so forth. And the reason why that is so important, because frames per second is literally the number of still images that your camera or your device is taking per second. And the higher the frames per second, the more smoother and the more quality of video you're getting, right? Because it's capturing those frames like literally, one after another. And the lower, obviously, if it's capturing and then it's capturing and then it's capturing, there's different movements that's taking place in between those frames. So it's not so much as a smoother quality. So I guess if you would think of it in terms of a choppy video would have lower frames per second, and a more smoother flowing video would have higher frames per second. So the neat thing that I like about this is there's actually a menu in here. I just got the thing and I can't really find it, but you can actually choose your frames per second, right? So I guess if you're doing like a driving video or a car ride where there's like a lot of movement and everything, or if you think about your GoPro, those are literally rated at higher frames per second. And so I like the frames per second menu where you could choose that. And so frames per second, baby. Okay, the next spec that I want to talk about is the memory and the micro SD card. It does come with a micro SD card slot here, just like any phone. All you have to do is just kind of press in and it just kind of slips out, and then you just insert back in there. And the capacity is 256 gigabytes for this particular cam. And I think you can get away with 128 depending on what you're doing. That's a pretty good size memory card. But I always like to max it out because it's only like a couple, maybe $4 or $5 or so to go to a 256 gigabyte versus a 128. So it just depends on what you want to do. And then also on the display here, it has your gigabytes displayed and what you have left. I don't know if the iPhone will capture that or not, but where's my camera? There you go. So as you can see, there's 229 gigabytes left there. So I think that's a neat option there. Also, again, we mentioned the display there. You have the control module there as well. There is a zoom in and zoom out feature here also that I like. If you can look here on the camera, if you just hit the control module in up form, you zoom in, and then if you hit the control module in down form, you zoom out. I think that's a really cool feature, especially if you're kind of taking footage of something and you guys see one of those nice little chicas down there in Colombia or those little Thai bots in Thailand, and you just want to zoom in on them. You can get the zoom in on them and the zoom out. The battery life on this thing is rated at 140 minutes. So what do you have there? 140 minutes. So that's a little over 2 hours worth of video footage. And I think for 2 hours worth of raw video footage, I'm sure that 256 gigabytes of memory would cover that. So we talked about the zoom mode. This is just a neat little camera, right? Also, guys, the cool thing about your DJI Pocket Cam 2, I gotta really figure out this name thing. I just keep wanting to say DJI or DJI. Now I'm saying DJI, but neither here nor there. The camera is capable of doing 4K videos and also 1080p. So, 1080p is still really good, video content, depending on what device you're watching it from. But, obviously the 4K is the better of the two. So, that's a neat spec also that this cam is capable of providing. Last but not least, guys, I want to talk a little bit about the microphones. So as you guys saw in the video, the microphone, held up pretty good. There was a bit of a breeze. You could hear it a little bit. But as I was walking and talking, I heard, and I replayed back the video, I heard myself talking pretty good, and I didn't have the microphone adapters in. So there is a slot, just like as you would connect your phone into one piece of the camera. there's a slot to connect portable microphones as well. But I'll probably utilize that just to make sure I'm getting, you know, the voice that I need. But even without using microphone adapters, I thought that the performance of the camera was pretty good in terms of the volume and hearing. So that was definitely a plus for that particular camera. Also, one of the things I like about the camera is there's an aspect ratio menu. So you could switch between 4:3, and which is like standard, but there's also like a 16:9 also. And in fact, you know, there's quite a few menus in here. You know, I didn't play around with it a whole lot before I started to do the reaction on it. But, you know, I think the aspect ratio for just amateur vloggers like myself and a lot of folks that are doing YouTube videos, and the frames per second are kind of like the biggest two things that you want to have on your device. So there's some other nice little features in here, you know, like slow motion mode or like follow mode that's in here as well, that are really cool specs. But as I begin to learn more and more about doing videos and vlogging, you know, I can, you know, maybe share some of those with you as well. So, without further ado, let's go get some footage. Okay, what's up, guys? Like I told you, I'm gonna test out the new DJI Pocket 2 cam here, and man, it's Halloween and it's freezing out here. It's weird how it started snowing. So first off, there was no instructions on how to install the little strap. The camera is so tiny, you know, it could kind of slip out of your hand. So they gave you this little strap, but you know, in the instructions there was no directions on how to put this thing on. So the second thing was, when I tried to activate the care plan requested a activation code, and everything came in Chinese. So the activation code, I had to copy and paste in my translator, and what I thought to be a code, the code it wasn't even included. So I don't even know how to get the activation code to activate the care plan. So, oh, this is crazy. Check this out. I'm gonna do like this guy, they was doing a little trick or treat. So I'm trying to zoom in with the little T-Rex there. But that's another feature that I thought was cool on the DJI CAM. So if I hit this button 3 times, the gimbal zooms, or excuse me, the gimbal turns around, and you could not talk to yourself but talk to others, or you could record others and not yourself. And then the next thing is 1, 2, 3. We'll do it 1, 2, 3. It zooms out again, and then you could zoom in on people as they trick or treat. So, and then if you just kind of toggle the little controller out, it zooms out. So, you know, I think that's a cool feature. Just kind of giving you guys a shot of what's going on here. I thought this was a cool time to kind of test out the cam during Halloween. Yeah, I'm just kind of walking around my neighborhood here, getting a shot of what's going on out here in the old Ohio suburbs. So yeah, Hi.
Hi.
Man, this is some intense stuff they got going on, huh?
Hey man, that little thing in the trash can don't scare me. Hey, that little thing on the...
Did they scare you guys in there?
On the corner scare you?
I think they get the prize this year, right? Okay, so here we are in the car. I wanted to do a couple car shots as well to see if this kind of see what the frames per seconds was on this DJI. So we're gonna do some we're gonna do a little bit of car riding to see what type of captions we get and see how clear the footage is going to be. And yeah, and we'll use that as a rating as well. So let's see if we can get the gimbal to turn to flip. Yep. So we're flipped and we're recording. Okay, guys, there you have it. So we were able to get around the neighborhood. It's kind of crazy because it was Halloween, so we were able to get some good footage, some people moving. You saw the kids in the neighborhood, you saw the costumes, so on and so forth. I thought the footage was pretty good. I thought it was clear, 4K. I liked it a lot. I like the zoom feature on it. And, you know, while we're talking about this, let's talk about the pros, right? So the pros, number one would be the zoom feature, you know, and also the second would be the clicking the control button 3 times to rotate the gimbal. And I thought that was a neat, cool little function. I was able to rotate the gimbal, zoom in on the T-Rex, and you could see a close-up footage as to what was going on. I thought that was neat. Although I ran into a technical difficulty there with rotating the gimbal as I was walking. I'm not sure why that really was. I'm gonna have to take a look into that a little bit more. I don't know if it was just the weather, because we are only about maybe 38 degrees in Ohio today right now. So I don't know if it was that. But once I rebooted the camera and toggled it, it seemed to work fine. So might have been just a little glitch or something or whatever. Neither here nor there. So we got the zoom, we got the rotating the gimbal. I thought the frames per second on that was really neat. So I was able to go for a little bit of drive so that you could see the frame per second. And, you know, that was only at about 40 frames per second as well. I wasn't even at max, which was 60. So you can even imagine how smoother that content would have been if I were at 60 frames per second. And on some of the street signs, I noticed when I was zoomed in, there was a little blurriness as you looked at the street signs. If you rewind in the video, you could see what I'm talking about. But you could still make out some of the street roads. And the neat thing also, while I was driving and you're in record mode, you can click the control module button and you can snap a photo as well. I like that feature also. If you wanted to get a caption of what you were framing or videoing at the moment. So that was cool and that was neat. So overall, I think it's just a really good camera. And I think it's going to work out really well in the content that I'm going to provide for you guys. So the cons, the only con that I could think of was, you know, the gimbal itself is a little flimsy. So you're going to have to be careful with that. It's not going to be made for some serious action like your GoPro. So I'm going to be mindful about that. If I know I'm going to be in some intense action, and like, you know, doing some adventurous stuff like maybe trails or, you know, doing some excursions in some of these foreign countries, I'm probably going to take my GoPro. The second thing is I talked a little bit about activating the service plan. When I registered the device, everything came in either Japanese or Chinese, so I didn't really care about that a whole lot. So I'm going to have to navigate that to get the device registered so that I can take advantage of the manufacturer warranty and you know, the service plan that they offer. You know, I think it was a 2-year service option plan. I like that a lot. So I want to take advantage of that. The next thing I talked about, again, I'm going to have to Google to try to see how I can, you know, connect this, because ideally you think there would just be like a offshoot of the camera, like a little hook that you can kind of, you know, loop it through and form like a little knot or something. But it doesn't have that. So, you know, I don't know if I'm just overthinking it or missing it, but I'm going to have to figure that out. And these are all minor little things, right? You know, things that I'm pointing out are just very, very minor things, right? The overall functionality of the camera is super. You do get this additional adapter that comes with it on the bottom of it. So that's where your charging port is. But I'm guessing that there's some sort of amount that this particular adapter connects to, you know, so that you could possibly do like some, you know, interviews and just sit it on the desk. Might be a little tripod or something that comes on with that or something. But You know, overall, folks, I give this camera a 10 out of 10. I mean, I think I'm going to like it. I won't know for sure until, you know, I get into like, you know, the foreign country. I'm going to be visiting Thailand here pretty soon, and definitely going back to Colombia. So we're going to be able to provide you guys some good footage. But overall, you know, I think I'm going to like this camera. And I don't think it's going to be a surprise because everyone that I've seen, every review for the camera, I've seen nothing but positive reviews. That's why I thought I'd give it a shot. So, yeah, if you like this video, give me a thumbs up. Appreciate it. Definitely subscribe to the channel. Although this is not a dating video, I am preparing to provide you guys more content and better footage while I kind of, you know, show you guys what dating is like in foreign countries, so on and so forth. So definitely subscribe to the channel. Appreciate it if you like this video as well. If you got any questions about the cam, guys, or you got any recommendations about the cam, appreciate it if you would, you know, reach out to me, shoot me a DM, drop a comment. You know, I'll definitely reach out and appreciate it. And, you know, as I discover more and more about this cam and videography, because I think I'm going to be able to do some really cool stuff with this camera, unlike the GoPro. Just because of that Access robot arm, right? There's just some movement in there that you get that you would have to manually do with your iPhone and your GoPro. So I'm really excited about that, and I appreciate you guys tuning in, and see you on the next video. Peace and love.